Hi there, and welcome to today's segment of How to Travel in China. My name is Jana, and I'm on the teacher recruitment marketing team. But before that, I was a teacher in China with EF. So I've been in China for about 3 years now, and I've done my fair share of traveling in China. So today I'd like to talk to you about how to travel in China. Okay, so the first question is, how do you find the best place to go? Now you have a variety of apps, a variety of websites that you can use to find your perfect destination for your next vacation. So you have apps in China like Trip.com. That's a huge app that you can book your plane tickets, your train tickets, and accommodation through. I've noticed that you can even book car rental through there now. Next, you have your WeChat app where you can book your plane tickets and your train tickets as well. And then for accommodation, you also have Agoda, Booking.com, Kayak, as well as hostelworld.com. So it depends on where you want to go, how long you want to stay, and that depends on what platform you're going to be booking your tickets or your accommodation on. One of the most popular travel apps in China is Trip.com. So when you download the app, you can see that you can book hotels, flights, trains, and even car rentals through this app. My preference is to book my flights and trains through Trip.com. However, I actually prefer booking my accommodation through Agoda. And I find that Agoda has a lot more accommodation options as well as some more promotion than Trip.com. All right, so let's look how we book train tickets through Trip.com. It's really simple. You go ahead and click on the train icon. You click on where you're departing from. In this case, for me, Shanghai is correct. And then you click on your destination where you would like to go. And let's do somewhere close like Hangzhou. And for my departure date, I will pick tomorrow as my departure date. And then click search. Once you have clicked search, a lot of options will populate based on the time on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the prices. Now let's leave maybe the earliest in the morning. Now I have to be careful of a couple of things. So in Shanghai, there's going to be a couple of train stations that you can depart from. So Shanghai Hongqiao is probably going to be the closest for me. So I want to make sure that I leave from Shanghai Hongqiao. What I can do is filter my departure station as only showing Shanghai Hongqiao departure railway stations. And I show the results. We still have quite a lot of options. So I'll go ahead and pick the first time. It's 73 RMB, and it's about a 52-minute journey on the high-speed train. So very fast, very convenient, and all for about $12 US. So I will select this. So I will select the first option, the leaving Shanghai Hongqiao at 6 a.m. and arrives in Hangzhou East Station at 6:52 a.m. Now it's a 52-minute journey for 73 RMB. And I will pick the second class seat because the business class just means it has more room, which for a 52-minute journey, I don't need that much room on the train. So I'll go ahead and book the second class seat. I will of course have to sign in with all of my personal information, but from there it's pretty straightforward. You just put in your name, your telephone number, and your debit card information or credit card information. Once you have paid for your ticket, you can go to actually any railway station in Shanghai and pick up your ticket. Just make sure that you go to the right station when you actually depart. So now you know about the platforms and the where to book. Now it's the when. So So EF, when you come here as a first-year teacher, you have 10 annual leave days that you can use. Now you can combine those with 2 of our major holidays that China has. The first one that comes around in the calendar year is around January or February time, and that's Chinese New Year. Now that's going to be about 5 to 7 days depending on where the Chinese New Year falls that year. So that's a really big chunk of time that you can go and do your traveling and exploring around China. The next big major holiday that you have falls in October, which is going to be the Golden Week or the national holiday. And that's going to be around 4 to maybe 6 days, again, depending on when the holiday falls that year, that calendar year. Within the rest of the year, you have about 1 to 2 days off, again, depending on what the holiday is. You have days like New Year's Day and Labor Day. You also have Tomb Sweeping Day and Dragon Boat Festival, as well as Mid-Autumn Festival. So make sure when you come, you can look at the calendar year, see how many days off, where you can maybe take your annual leave days and use those with the national holidays to kind of extend your vacation. Okay, so now I'd like to talk to you about the how and the actual modes of transportation. So traveling in China, you have a couple different modes of transportation, and the first one and the most popular is probably high-speed train. So for example, I'm in Shanghai right now, and it's really common for people, if they want to go to Beijing or even any of the surrounding towns, to take a high-speed train. The next most popular way of transportation is via plane. As you know, China is a huge country, and so sometimes taking the train isn't the most time-efficient way of getting to your destination. So a plane is going to be the next most convenient way of traveling. There are many, many different airplane providers and carriers within China. And they fly at so many different times, so you're not going to have too much of a problem finding an internal flight that fits your budget. So traveling solo or traveling with friends, that might be the next question that comes up when planning your next vacation. With traveling by yourself, you do have the freedom to explore things on your own, kind of run by your own schedule during that holiday. You also have the opportunity to meet new friends. For example, if you stay in a hostel, I know a lot of teacher friends that I've made that do prefer to travel on their own. They stay at hostels, and it's a great way to kind of go on tours and meet other people, maybe other solo travelers that are traveling by themselves. But traveling with friends, or in my case, I travel with my boyfriend. When I was in the schools, I did a couple of group trips with other teachers, foreign and local teachers at my school. So that was a lot of fun. I actually prefer traveling with other people. For me, I just like experiencing different things with a group of people that I know, so that it gives us a chance to talk about the things that we've been through together. For example, the last group trip that I went on with my school was a trip to Huangshan, which is the Yellow Mountain, and that was an incredible experience. We took an overnight train, which was my first and maybe last overnight train. It just wasn't it was a good experience, but maybe it wasn't an experience that I would have every time I travel. But we got to the mountain around 7 a.m. We had traveled all night. We walked up the mountain for about 5-6 hours, and we were able to stop, eat, watch the sunset. And then we also, the local teachers in my group, they had booked a hotel at the top of the mountain. So we stayed there for the night, got up really early the next morning around 4 a.m., put on these huge winter jackets, and went outside to see the sunrise. So it was honestly an adventure, a trip that I will never forget, and we got amazing photos, and our team really bonded from that trip. The next topic I want to talk about is the language barrier, or the potential language barrier. You really don't need to know Mandarin to be able to travel and get around places. That's because most of the major cities, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, they are going to have their street signs, the metro stops, maybe their menus are going to be in Chinese and in English. So that's not going to be a problem there. If you do go to the smaller, maybe tier 2, tier 3 cities, the English may not be as readily accessible, but we have a couple of apps that we recommend. So the first is WeChat, and WeChat has a new translation function where you can scan, for example, a menu at a restaurant, and the Chinese characters will be automatically translated into English. Another app that we recommend is Pleco, where you can put in the English word and then the Chinese pinyin and characters will come up and vice versa. So the last app that we recommend is Google Translate, and they have a really good speech translation function where you can speak either English or Mandarin into Google Translate and then it will automatically do the translation. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked our video, please click subscribe on our YouTube channel or follow our social media accounts on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Bye!